Hello and welcome to the Feeder Series podcast. I am your host, Jim Kimberley, and it's not every day that I get to welcome a champion back to the show, but I'm delighted to say that that's the case today. After joining us in 2022, late on in the year when he became the vice champion, he enjoyed one final year in F2 to become the champion in a season of consistency. Now racing in Super Formula, but very much still part of the Sber Academy and a name mentioned for a 2025 F1 drive. Let me say, welcome back to Theo Pourchaire. Konnichiwa, Theo. Where in the world are you?
Konnichiwa. Right now I'm in Wheel, at the Sber factory. It's great to be back in Europe after the first race of the year in Super Formula, and doing some simulator work for the Formula One team. And I'm living a bit everywhere right now. I'm living in the plane, I would say, in the plane and hotels. So it's going to be a good year. I mean, a fun year. Some great experiences, but looking forward to it.
Well, you've already answered my next question, which was how much traveling are you doing? It sounds like traveling now is your life. But I did have the second part of it, which was how is the culture shock of going to Japan and just not even on the driving side, just your living side right now?
It's crazy. It's a big shock. The culture is very, very much different compared to the European or American culture. Which we are, really close to. But it's fun. It's fun. It's going to be a fun experience. I'm happy to drive. To do something this season. I'm happy to be a reserve driver in Formula One, but also to have a drive in Super Formula, to be able to enjoy it. Drive a really fast car around.
Whoa! You're talking about driving. We're talking about sushi and all the cultural side of things. You can't help yourself. Look, seriously, I've only been in an airport in Japan, and I didn't get the chance to experience all of that. Have you felt like a tourist there? Have you been before?
Well, to be honest, I'm always going to Japan for 1 week. I'm going there. I have like 3 or 4 days of, to adapt myself to the jet lag a little bit, and then I'm going to there for the race. But of course, I discovered some things there. I visited a lot Tokyo. I ate a lot of. I don't know, like Wagyu beef, rice, also the fried pork.
Now we're talking. This is real podcast now.
Exactly. I'm not a big fan of fish, which is really difficult when you're going to Japan. But it's okay. I'm finding some good things to eat, and it's fun. It's fun experience to be there.
No, well, I'm only joking, of course. And when you say you're only there for a week, I can understand why it's racing on the mind. But before we talk about 2024 in depth, and believe me, there's a lot of audience questions about your Super Formula experiences. It's the first time we've spoken since 2023. And since we last spoke in 2023, you've had countless, I tried to count them and I forgot, I got lost, countless podiums and loads of points. Only one win, but that got you the championship. Did you have a different mentality of that you were going to take the championship by consistency rather than pushing for wins last year?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the main target was the championship, and to win a championship, you have to be consistent. Formula 2 is a really tight championship, high-level drivers. So there was a lot of great competitors last year, and it's not like F1. Everybody has the same car in F2, so it's really tough to win a lot of races. I was near winning a few more races last season. I think a slightly bad luck with some safety cars at one point. I remember in Spa, but it's okay. The most important for me was to score great points, to be on the podium, to be in top 3 in qualifying most of the year. We did two pole positions as well. So overall, I'm super happy to be the Formula 2 champion. Of course, that was a dream. I mean, it's Formula 2. It's the last category, last step before F1. Of course, on the other side, I'm slightly disappointed to not be in F1, but I'm looking at the positives, and that's the most important.
Well, let's talk about the positives of the F1 side with the FP1s that you got. So Mexico, let's ignore what happened in Mexico. That didn't seem to go so well. You looked really disappointed. But Abu Dhabi, you got a good 20 odd laps, I think, in the car, and you've done, was it the US Grand Prix in 2022
Yep.
as well? So you've had the chance to experience two FP1s properly. You had the chance to drive two F1 cars. Did you notice a massive difference between both of them?
Um, well, to be honest, not really, because I do not have a lot of experience in F1. I only did two FP1 sessions, two rookie test days, so it's not a lot of mileage in the end. So it's tough to feel any difference between the 2022 car and 2023 car. For me, stepping from Formula 2, it's just a much faster car and it's just unbelievable to drive, So, the time I need to adapt myself to the F1 each time is not easy, but it's great. Every time it's unbelievable to drive in F1.
Do you feel like you are just part of the grid there when you look around and you have to get out of the way for some faster driver coming through, and it's like Charles Leclerc or Verstappen or something? Is it something that you feel, wow, I'm really part of the top now?
Yeah, I think, I was impressed at the beginning, especially my first FP1 session. I had a lot of pressure because, you have all the TV cameras on you. At the time, there was a few rookies doing this FP1 in Austin as well, but I could remember in front of my garage, a lot of cameras, a lot of photographs. And then, going out on the track, I didn't drive an F1 car for more than a year. And it was the new spec Formula One cars. And, it's an FP1 session. So if you do a mistake, everybody will see it. And, I remember the engineer telling me, especially it was in Sector 1 in Austin, like, be careful, Hamilton 5 seconds behind you. It's a little bit strange, when when you're driving F2, that type of drivers, Hamilton, Verstappen, Leclerc, I'm looking at them since I'm a kid. And yeah, then, in 2023 in Abu Dhabi, I was a lot more relaxed, just focusing on the F2 championship. And in the end, I feel like it's okay. I'm ready to go to F1. I'm not impressed anymore by the drivers because I know them as well a little bit more. So it's fine.
Let's talk about the opportunity then that you're getting, but that's because you are in the Sber Academy and you're longest serving member by some margin. You've now got Zane Maloney for company, Lena Buehler, Carrie Schreiner as the other drivers in cars as well. Do you feel like, I was trying to think of the best way to describe it, do you feel like the kid at school that's got the new kids coming to school and you're like, let me show you how everything works at Sber? Is that the sort of level that you feel you're at now with the newcomers? How have times changed over the last few years?
Yeah, I mean, it's great to have him in the academy. He's doing a great job at the moment. He's leading the Formula 2 championship. I raced with him only last year, but I know him since we are really young. Since we are racing in go-kart because we were in the same paddock every time. He was racing. I mean, he's 1 year younger than me, I think. So he was racing in the lower category each time, because I was a little bit older. So, but we know each other since we are kids. So it's great to be together now in the academy. He's also there in case, I am on the Super Formula race, and in case we need a replacement for an F1 race, and I'm not there, he can do the job. Even though I know he didn't drive an F1 yet, so it's still complicated, but yeah, I mean, it's good. It's good. He will be there also for the simulator work to help me a little bit, which is nice.
Right. Well, it sounds like just everything's in a good place for you. And I do have obviously questions about your 2025, but I'm going to put them to the audience because we got a load, like so many questions, and I don't think we'll get through all of them. And as our audience knows, the podcast isn't for me, it's for our audience. So let's go to those questions. But just before we get there, if you like what we do, please make sure to subscribe on YouTube or your podcast player. Drop us a like, leave your thoughts on the show, and let us know any other guests you'd like to see in the comments below. And for those of you who already are following us or are subscribed, thank you so much. We've had over 250,000 listens and views, and we genuinely appreciate all of that support. Let's go to the questions, and I think we're probably going to lead on Super Formula quite a lot in the first bit. Let's go to this one from JP Fufu on Twitter, that they were listening to the radio on SF Go. You seem frustrated by the lack of good communication with English in the team. do you have any plans to bring in Michael Crum, who took over as Tom's team manager in Super GT this year, as an advisor? There is a second part, which is from Dan via Discord. How do you communicate with your engineers? Do you have an English-speaking engineer, and do you speak to the rest of the team members with translators/interpreters? So questions around the language barrier, really.
Yeah, it's, I think, one of the most difficult parts of driving in Japan is that, I'm the only non-Japanese driver in Super Formula. Everybody is Japanese, of course. It's a Japanese championship, so all the mechanics, engineers, teams overall, so drivers, and even the race directors, the marshals, the journalists, everybody's Japanese. So, it's a little bit complicated. Of course, I was a little bit frustrated in the race because it was my first race and we were running really in a bad position. We were far from the points, not fast, and my engineer was not understanding everything, which is tough when you come from a French team. I was speaking French in the radio, which was really easy for me last year with the ART Grand Prix. But even if it's in English, it's okay for me. But in Japan, I need to understand that it's a little bit more complicated. And of course, I have my engineer speaks a little bit of English, the team boss as well, the mechanics not so much, and that's it. Then a little bit Toyota engineers because I'm running a Toyota engines. It's not easy. It's very, very difficult for me to say what I want to say, express myself. It's tough.
So do you have interpreters there? Is that something that you do have that people, or would you consider getting somebody who can translate to Japanese from what you say in French or English?
I have outside of the team someone to help me with the interviews, with the driver's briefing, with all that stuff. But in the team, not so much. I mean, they can understand me, but I'm not sure if they understand everything every time. So that's why I try to speak slowly. I try to repeat everything. So it's more complicated. It's definitely more complicated. But
you've got the difficulty level set a little bit higher this year. It sounds like I'm just looking through the history of it, and this is the first year that I've just checked that there's only one non-Japanese driver. So you really are going into the unknown. Wow,
it's crazy.
It's great as well. You say all the cameras were on you in the FP1, but it must be the same with Super Formula, just to be that one driver. This one's from Wonderkind F1. Would you rather be driving Super Formula cars on F2 circuits or driving an F2 car in Japan on the Super Formula circuits? And would you like to drive Super GT cars in the future?
I would definitely choose the Super Formula car on F2 tracks. I think that would be crazy. That would be a crazy championship. People can't imagine, but the car is really good, and I feel like it's a good step between F2 and F1 because it's way quicker than F2 and a little bit slower than F1, of course. But it's a great car to drive. So I think if we could do some races in Europe, that would be super interesting for the fans as well, because the tracks in Europe are amazing. We have tracks like Silverstone, Spa, even tracks like Jeddah, for a Super Formula car. I think it's going to be amazing. But of course, it's a Japanese championship, and we have Suzuka there. I drove in Suzuka for the first time. The track is amazing, and I'm looking forward to racing in the other Japanese tracks like Fuji, Motegi, Sugo, and Autopolis. It looks like there are more tiny tracks apart from Fuji, but it's fun.
Yeah, the championship does look great. I mean, I've only got some experience with like doing iRacing and things like that, but the Super Formula car just feels so rapid. And then you also had the Wonderkind wanted to know if you'd like to drive Super GT cars in the future. Is that something of interest?
If I have an opportunity, why not? To be honest, but I mean, it's not my goal, it's not my target, but why not? Because Super GT is really, really famous in Japan, and the cars are really quick as well. It's not really GT cars. It looks like a GT car, but it's as fast as a Formula 3 car at least. So even quicker, I think. So it's crazy. It's really famous there in Japan. I would love to go to one race. As a spectator first to see.
Well, you need to be a tourist, and I've realised you're too busy in planes. That's not really what you're doing so far. These next three questions kind of link together. So, Manri Valverde, how much of a difference is there between an F2 to a Super Formula car? Casavelero 98, what are the main differences between Formula 2 and Super Formula? And then Tamari, what's the biggest difference you've noticed between racing in Europe and racing in Japan? So it's kind of the racing standards or the racing quality, and then also the car. Could you let us know?
Yeah, sure. So the car first, for me, the two main differences are the power steering. So in Super Formula, we have a power steering, not as much as F1. It's difficult to explain, but the F1 car, the steering wheel is really light. Super Formula is lighter than F2, but still you have some good feeling, and the steering wheel can be quite hard sometimes in some hard physically tracks, and the downforce level is much different. The power is similar, the brakes are similar. We do not have a DRS, but the downforce is crazy. Sector 1 in Suzuka, some of the corners we are as quick as F1, which is really impressive, because we don't have. I mean, we are a lot slower in the straight lines, but really quick in the corners. So this is good. And then the racing there is fun. It's fun. I mean, I did only one race. The weekend system is a bit different. So we have a 1FP1 of 1.5 hour. Then we have a Q1, Q1A, Q1B. So there's two groups to have less cars on track. We have only one lap because the tires can last only one lap. And then the top 6 of each group can access to the Q2. And again, one more lap with new tires. It's like they call it the time attack, one attack lap, and it's full push. So it's very fun. And then the race, of course, it's more or less like Formula 2, Formula 2 feature race. It's a little bit longer, but we have one pit stop, and it's great fun. There is also one important thing is the overtake button. So we don't have any DRS, but we have 200 seconds of overtake available. So it's a different system compared to Europe. I like it, but I would say the DRS is very good. It's something we are used to it, and it's of course the guy in front cannot defend himself so much. With the overtake button you can, but it provides a little bit more overtakes, I think, the DRS. So yeah, that's the main differences.
You want the DRS now when you're the car behind, but if you were leading, you have a different opinion. And then there's this question from R Reads 38912. There's a few questions in it, but the one that I want to know is, what's it like racing in what is for many drivers a destination series instead of a feeder series? Is there a difference in the way that the teams are run? And I'm guessing the way that I'm interpreting that question is that on the feeder series ladder, you do kind of have that spec car, get the engineers, get this. This is now the top of what Japan has as the closest thing to F1. Do you feel that difference in terms of the prestige, in terms of the way that teams do operate?
Yeah, there are some differences. It's I think that for me, they are not less professional, because it's not true, because the car is quicker than F2. The championship level is really, really high, but it's not a way of working, compared to Europe. And it's tough to explain as a European, because, I started in Europe. I've always drive in Europe with European teams. And the way we work there in Europe is much different compared to Japan. So, the driver is a bit more of a team leader in Japan, I would say. And the driver has to, push the team in a certain direction, with the car setup. He always needs to tell the team what he wants for the car setup. If you want, I don't know, if you want more front wing, if you want less tire pressure, if you want more rear wing, I don't know. You have to tell the team, and the team thinks that the driver is always perfect there. Not perfect, but the driver is doing a great job, you know. So their main focus is to improve the car and not the driver performance. So it's a lot different, in my opinion, because it's the opposite of Europe. So that's something I need to adapt to. But it's okay, you know. It's going to be a great experience. It's going to open also my mind a little bit more on that side. So it's great.
I find that fascinating. These are sorts of insights why I love having people on the podcast, just stuff like that. Let's go away from the Japan bits. You'll probably be a bit relieved. There's no questions about your favourite cheese this time. You'll be happy to know as well.
I like cheese. I'm French and I don't like cheese.
We don't believe me. We know on the podcast. We still talk about it sometimes. It was the biggest revelation I think we've had. Let's go this one, which is a little bit more related. This one's from CM Parfait 16. Heyo Theo, what is your favourite sports car of all time and why?
Sports car of all time. It's a difficult question.
I don't like sports cars. I don't like cheese.
No, I don't like sports car. Don't like cheese. Don't like wine. I'm not French, sorry. No. Favorite sports car. That's a great question. Let's say my favorite one at the moment is a Porsche GT3 RS. So that's my favorite car. I love it.
Any particular reason why?
I mean, it's I feel like it's one of the best cars to drive during the day. And if you see a racetrack on the side of the road and you want to go on it, you can drive a race car, a road car on the racetrack, you know, and it feels like a race car. So yeah, this car, I love it. You know, GT3 RS is very good.
Well, I don't see many race tracks on the side of the road usually. I usually
You never know.
You never know. I like that. This one also is very much off topic. F2_Apo on Twitter. We know you're a massive basketball fan. Could you leave your racing career to join an NBA team? And if yes, what team would you like to play for?
In my dreams, yes, probably. But you know, I'm sorry, I don't have the talent. I'm sorry, but yeah, why not? I will try it, and you will tell me if I'm good enough. But no, for sure not. But yeah, my favorite basketball team is the Golden State Warriors. I'm a huge fan of basketball. You know, it's I think one of my favorite sports with Formula One. I mean, with motorsport in general, basketball, soccer. But yeah, I think I will just, you know, play basketball on a Sunday with friends. It's all good, you know, not taking pictures, not filming it because I don't want to get, I'm not good. I'm just not good enough for basketball.
Okay, well, it's probably better you don't play for your team then because you would make them a little bit worse. This one's good with you saying you like F1 though. It's Nurarito. Via Instagram. What would your dream team lineup be? What two drivers would you pick in your dream Formula One team? I'm going to put a caveat that Theo Pourchaire can't be one of those drivers because that would be far too easy for you.
Good. But can he be the team boss? Can Theo Pourchaire?
Yeah, you can be the team boss and then you can hire your drivers. Go for that.
Good. So team boss, me, and then let's pick. It's so tough, but yeah, let's go with Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. That's it.
You want to be the team boss with those two,
and I'm the team boss and reserve driver at the same time because I know the job. So we're good.
I think you'd end up just food poisoning the drivers or something, so you can drive every week, or that'd be all.
I will do it to Max and Lewis, so then I have both cars for me.
All right, very good. These ones back on the racing side, so maybe about getting you in F1 is a good segue. Dan Castle and Noops have similar questions. Dan Castle have Sauber set you targets this year that you need to reach in order to get into F1 for 2025? And Noops via Discord, have you been given a performance target by Sauber for Super Formula?
Not really, to be honest. I don't have a special performance target. I just need to give my best. You know, it's a great opportunity for me to learn, driving really fast cars, especially in the high-speed corners. It's a good training for me for Formula One. So I don't have a particular target. As also, I'm not I'm with Team Impul, which is a legendary team. They won the championship a few times, especially with one French driver. I think it was Benoit Tréluyer. So hopefully I can do the same this year. But the performance was really difficult on the first round. I hope we can improve. And for me, it's great training for F1. So I'm just keeping myself fit and ready in case I can have an opportunity to drive in F1.
Absolutely, absolutely. Have you got any personal targets then? I know you said before we started recording you had quite high expectations for yourself.
Yeah, sure. I mean, personal targets, I'm a competitor. So, for me, winning is, especially after winning Formula 2, the championship, when you win a championship like this, you want to win every season. So, of course, I want the best result possible. The best result possible is P1. But more realistically, with the performance we have at the moment, I just want to give my best and to learn and improve myself as a driver, to get ready to F1. That's my main target.
Well, got a couple of questions about your previous championships. This one's from Simi0405, and that's via Instagram as well, who wanted to know what are your thoughts on the title battle for the ADAC F4 championship against Dennis Hauger. So going back a little bit. And then somebody also said, Hupov via Discord, what are the key differences fighting for the title between ADAC, F4, F3, F2, and now Super Formula?
Yeah. I mean, it was, it's great memories to think about the German F4 championship fighting.
2019, it's so long ago now.
Yeah, for sure. It's a long time ago, but it's great memories because fighting with Dennis for the championship until the last race of the year. It was a great year. I remember, driving with so many great drivers, and winning the championship at the end was a very big step forward in my career that allowed me to sign in Formula 3 for ART Grand Prix, and the rest after that is good story. So it's great memories. That's it.
Some of the names in that championship: Dennis Hauger, Arthur Leclerc, Roman Stanek, Gianluca Petikov, Paul Ahorn. So really good quality grid there.
Yeah, many drivers from Formula 1 academies as well. So I think there was a Ferrari, Red Bull, Sauber, Mercedes. Crazy. There was many good drivers.
Well, thank you so much, Theo Pourchaire. That's all the time we have this week. Thank you for everybody for watching and listening. And if you are watching on YouTube, drop a like on the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. All really helps out. And if you are listening, leaving a review on the podcast platform you're listening on is greatly appreciated. Finally, check out feederseries.net for more Feeder Series insight and follow Feeder_series and FS Americas on X and Feeder Series Net on Instagram. You can find the links to all of those, plus where to find everyone in this podcast, myself and Theo, in the YouTube description or podcast show notes. Theo, I guess we'll see you on the racetrack in Super Formula. We wish you all the best, and thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you very much, and appreciate the support of everybody. It's great, and going to do my best, and hopefully see you soon, guys.